At 32, Anna Green was the one everyone in her family whispered about. In their minds, she was the daughter who dropped out, moved far away, and was still trying to figure life out. What nobody knew was that for 5 quiet years she had been building a health tech company worth hundreds of millions of dollars. While her parents told people, Anna is in California doing something with computers, she was signing contracts with hospitals across the country. She kept it secret on purpose. She wanted to succeed without her family measuring her against her older brother, John. The real turning point came the night of John's engagement dinner. Anna sat at the long table, smiling politely while everyone praised John's job, John's house, John's fiancée. Then John's fiancée, Sarah, looked closely at Anna, repeated the name of the company she worked for, and suddenly realized who Anna really was. That was the moment everything broke open. Anna hadn't grown up in a relaxed house. Her parents, David and Mary Green, lived in a beautiful old neighborhood in Boston where people cared a lot about schools, success, and last names. David was a well-known lawyer. Mary was a respected doctor. In that house, life was a race. Homework was not just homework. It was proof of worth. Test scores were not just numbers. They were measures of love. And in that race, John was always in front. "Why can't you be more like your brother?" was a sentence Anna heard so many times that sometimes she heard it even when nobody was speaking. John was older, neat, organized, top of his class, captain of this and president of that. Anna was smart, but her brain worked differently. She didn't like copying what already existed. She liked fixing things. When Anna was a child, this difference showed up early. Her mother would say, "Anna, focus on your math," and Anna would say, "But the school website is slow. I can make it faster." Her father would frown. "That's not what matters right now." At 11, she built a small website. At 14, she made a simple app. Nobody clapped. Nobody said, "That's impressive." Instead, her father said, "That's nice, but your brother already finished his SAT practice." Only Aunt Lily, her father's younger sister, understood. Aunt Lily was the family artist, the one everyone said could have been more if she had chosen law or medicine. One day in her paint-covered studio, Aunt Lily told Anna, "You and I see new roads. Your parents only see the old one. That doesn't make you wrong. It just makes you different." Those words stayed with Anna for years. The gap between Anna and her family got bigger in high school. John got into a fancy boarding school. Anna stayed at her private school in Boston. Family dinners became mini award shows for John. John made honors again. John was chosen to speak. John's teacher called. Then someone would turn to Anna and ask, "So, how are your grades?" If she said, "I got a B in calculus," her mother would sigh and say, "With the tutors we are paying for." Anna didn't hate learning. She just didn't like learning in straight lines. So when she later chose to go to a tech school instead of her parents' dream college, they were disappointed but not shocked. What shocked them was what came next. She dropped out. The day she told them, her father walked out of the room. Her mother said, "So what now, Anna? Coffee shop? Babysitting?" Anna tried to explain, "I have an offer from a startup. I will learn faster there." But to her parents, startup meant not serious. That was when they quietly decided her story. At family events they would say, "Yes, Anna is out west. She's still finding her path," in that soft voice people use when someone is sick. Meanwhile, John was making them proud. Harvard, business school, big consulting job, perfect fiancé. Anna heard her mother once tell an aunt, "At least we have John." That night Anna made a choice. If her family was going to see her as a failure no matter what she said, then she would stop explaining. She would move, work, build, and tell them nothing until she decided it was time. So she left Boston with 2 suitcases, a laptop, and $2,500. To her family, it looked like she was running away. To Anna, she was finally running toward the life that actually fit her. San Francisco did not scare Anna. Landing with little money should have, but instead she felt light, like someone had finally cut the rope tied to her ankle. She rented a tiny studio in Oakland, small kitchen, thin walls, a view of a brick wall, but it was hers. She got a junior developer job at a health tech company. The pay was okay, not amazing, but the real gift was her boss, Mr. Walker. He wasn't like her father. He actually looked at her work. One day after she reorganized an internal tool, he called her into his office. "Anna, you don't just fix problems," he said. "You see the whole system. That's rare." She smiled. A little shy. I just don't like when things are slow.
He laughed. Good.
Healthcare needs people who hate slow. For the first time, someone in authority was telling her she was right to think differently. She started staying late, not because anyone forced her, but because she loved the challenge. And slowly, without telling Boston, she began to see a much bigger idea. The idea came during a meeting most people found boring. The team was talking about hospital data, how different systems couldn't talk to each other. A doctor would send records, the pharmacy would read it differently, another clinic couldn't open the file at all.
Everyone was complaining. Anna was sketching.
What if we don't force all the old systems to change? She said. What if we build something in the middle that speaks every language?
The room went quiet.
One of the senior people said, if that worked, hospitals would pay a fortune for it.
Anna looked up.
It can work. That night she went home, pushed her bed to the corner, and turned her studio into an office.
She coded until 4 a.m.
Her eyes burned, but her brain was on fire. She was building the first version of what would later be called Linkbridge, a platform that could translate hospital data automatically.
Nobody in Boston knew.
They still thought she was trying her best in California. After 6 months of long days at work and long nights at her laptop, Anna showed the prototype to Mr. Walker.
She was nervous. What if it was stupid?
What if she had imagined it was good? But he watched her demo, then leaned back and said, this is not a feature, Anna. This is a company.
She blinked.
A company?
Yes.
You should quit and build this. I will introduce you to people.
Quitting was scary.
She didn't have rich parents backing her, at least not parents who believed in this path. But she had saved a bit, she knew how to live small, and she had something better than approval, conviction.
So she quit.
She turned her studio into a full-time workspace. Ramen, coffee, code.
Some nights she fell asleep on the floor.
Some days she wondered if her father's words would come true, California fantasy. Then it happened. She presented Linkbridge at a small tech meetup. A woman walked up to her afterward and said, I run a fund. This solves $1 billion problem. I want to invest. 3 weeks later, Anna had seed money and a real company. And still, her family had no idea. Anna named the company Unified Health Systems and kept herself mostly invisible. On the website and documents, she used only her initials, AG. She even hired an older, polished operations director to meet investors so people wouldn't judge her for being young and a woman. Part of it was strategy, she knew the numbers about women founders. Part of it was personal, she didn't want a call from Boston saying, so, what is this little project? She hired 3 people and rented a small space in Oakland that used to be a workshop. They brought in second-hand desks, wore sweaters when the place was cold, and worked like people who believed. Slowly, hospitals started saying yes.
Then more hospitals. Then a bigger one.
By the end of the second year they had 20 people, $3 million more in funding, and actual profit. Her team called her Anna, her board called her AG, and her family called her once in a while to ask, so, are you still in tech? She would smile and say, yes, I'm still in tech. 5 years after she left Boston, the company was worth around $300 million. Their platform, now called Medilink, was used in over 200 hospital systems. She had an office with glass walls in San Francisco, a team of 100+ people, and enough money to live loudly if she wanted.
But she didn't.
She bought a nice apartment with a view of the bay, sent Aunt Lily a plane ticket to visit, and kept her life quiet.
Only Aunt Lily knew the full story.
You did exactly what you said you would do, Aunt Lily told her, hugging her in the office. You made your own road.
Anna smiled.
I'll tell them when I'm ready. You sure?
Aunt Lily asked.
Because one day life will tell them for you.
Anna laughed.
Then I hope it chooses good timing.
Life, of course, did not.
It chose her brother's engagement dinner, one long, shiny night in Boston, when everyone still believed she was the family disappointment. The envelope came on a Tuesday morning. Thick, cream-colored, with the green family crest on the back.
Anna spotted it on her kitchen counter beside her laptop and coffee. Her first thought was, what now?
She opened it and read the words, You are warmly invited to celebrate the engagement of John Green and Sarah Miller at her parents' house in Boston.
3 weeks from now. There was a small handwritten note tucked inside. It would mean a lot if you came. It's been too long. John. Anna sat down.
5 years.
5 years since she had been in the same room with all of them.
5 years since she had left as the disappointment.
Now she was a founder, but they didn't know.
Part of her wanted to toss the invitation and stay in San Francisco with her sensible life and her view of the bay. Another part of her, the younger Anna who wanted to be seen, wanted to go.
That night she called Aunt Lily.
They invited me.
Good, Lily said. Go.
You know it will be like walking into a lion's den.
Maybe, Lily said.
Or maybe it's time the lions see who you became. Anna didn't go to Boston to rub it in.
She told herself that over and over while packing.
She chose simple, elegant clothes, not the designer pieces she could easily afford. She didn't want to walk in looking rich, she wanted to walk in looking calm. On the 5-hour flight she rehearsed fake small talk. Yes, I'm still in California. Yes, tech is busy. Yes, it's expensive. She decided she would tell them nothing unless they asked properly. Not the how's that little job kind of question, but a real question. When the taxi dropped her in front of her parents' brownstone in Beacon Hill, her stomach flipped. The house looked exactly the same. Clean bricks, shiny brass, flowers in the window. The last time she had walked out of that door, her father had said, "When that California thing fails, don't expect us to fix it." Now she was coming back with a company worth more than their house, their street, maybe their whole block. And still, when she lifted her hand to ring the bell, it trembled. Her father opened the door. David Green hadn't changed, tall, formal, the kind of man who looked like he was always about to go to court. "Anna," he said, as if she were a colleague arriving late. "You made it."
"Hi, Dad." She stepped inside.
The smell of polish, lilies, and expensive cooking hit her. He gave her a brief hug, stiff, then gestured down the hall. "Everyone's in the living room. Your mother has been preparing all day." Of course she has, Anna thought.
On the wall were family photos.
John's side was full, graduations, awards, vacations. Her side stopped at high school.
She felt a small sting but kept walking. In the living room, her mother, Mary, stood up at once.
"Anna, darling."
She kissed her cheek like a polite host. "How was your flight?"
"Good, Mom. You look well."
"This is Sarah," John said, stepping forward with his fiancée. Sarah was not what Anna expected.
Warm smile, kind eyes, firm handshake. "I've heard so much about you," Sarah said. Anna laughed. "All bad, I'm sure." "Not at all," Sarah said quickly. Anna noticed her mother's tiny frown. Jokes about failure were only funny if they said them. For the next 15 minutes, it was the usual performance. Uncles, aunts, cousins, some truly happy to see her, some clearly nosy. "Still in California? Still doing the tech thing? I heard rent is terrible there." Anna answered gently, letting them keep the story they had built about her. She saw Aunt Lily come in last, wearing her colorful scarf. Lily hugged her tightly and whispered, "You look successful." Anna whispered back, "Don't start." They all sat for dinner. Long table. Candlelight. Proper plates. Her parents at the ends, John and Sarah across from Anna. Anna was placed between Lily and her father's cousin, a man who had always spoken to her like she was 12. As the first course was served, he called down the table. "So, Anna, still making a go of it in tech?" The way he said tech made it sound like she was selling phone cases. "Yes," Anna said. "Healthcare technology." Before she could add more, her mother slipped in, "Entry-level roles are a good start. I'm sure she'll move up." Anna just sipped her water. If they wanted to think she was at the bottom, fine. Let them. The reveal, if it ever came, was not going to come from her. The evening rolled on, mostly about John. John's promotion. John's firm. John's wedding. Her father stood to toast him, proud and glowing. To John, who has always made this family proud. Then, almost as if it cost him nothing, he added, "And we're glad Anna could join us from California." Everyone lifted their glasses. Anna lifted hers too, eyes on John. For a moment she thought she saw something in his face. Guilt? Discomfort, but it passed. Then the conversation turned to Sarah. Where she worked. What she did. And that was the moment Anna's two worlds began to slide toward each other. "I work for a healthcare data company," Sarah said happily. "We help hospitals connect all their systems. It's really changing things." Anna tilted her head. That sounded familiar. "What's it called?"
she asked.
Unified, no, Sarah corrected herself. We use their new name now, Unified Care Solutions.
Their main platform is called Metalink.
Our team loves it. The room kept chatting, but Anna froze.
Metalink. Her product. Her company. Her secret. And Sarah worked there. Sarah was praising it. Sarah was marrying John.
And Sarah hadn't yet realized she was sitting across from the woman who built it. At first, Sarah didn't connect it. She just kept talking, happy to explain her work to the table. The founder is kind of a mystery, she said, cutting her chicken. Everyone just calls her AG.
She built the first version herself.
Our CTO says her original code is still the backbone of everything. She doesn't do a lot of public stuff though.
Anna felt the air in her chest go tight. Please don't say it. Please don't say my name.
But then Sarah squinted a little, like she was trying to remember something. Wait. I saw the founder's full name once, on a patent document or internal presentation. She looked straight at Anna now, eyes narrowing in surprise. Your name is Anna Green. The table quieted.
Even the clinking of spoons stopped. Sarah stared harder.
AG Anna Green, you. Her hand flew to her mouth. Then, in a whisper that somehow everyone heard, she said, You're the founder.
Knives paused in mid-air. Mary's fork dropped.
David stopped breathing.
John stared like he didn't know his own sister.
Anna could have denied it.
She could have laughed it off. But she was tired of shrinking.
So she sat up a little straighter, looked at Sarah, and said in a calm, steady voice, Yes. I built Metalink. The silence that followed was heavy, like a blanket over the whole room. Even the candles seemed to flicker slower. Then Uncle Mark, the loud one, blurted, But that company is worth hundreds of millions.
Anna nodded politely.
Our last valuation was $340 million. Cousin Beth was already on her phone, whispering, It's true, it's in Forbes. Mary spoke next, but her voice was thin. You never said anything. You never asked, Anna said, not rude, just honest. Sarah looked half embarrassed, half starstruck. I am so sorry, she said quickly. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. It's just, we admire you so much at work.
We always talk about how smart the founder is.
I just never imagined. It's okay, Anna said. It was going to come out someday. David leaned forward now, lawyer mode on. You own the company. Yes. You raised venture capital.
Yes.
Seed, Series A, Series B. And you retained control? 51%.
He sat back, stunned.
Anna could almost see him replaying every time he had said, that California fantasy. Aunt Lily lifted her glass right then, breaking the stiffness.
To Anna, she said warmly, eyes shining. Who did what they said she couldn't.
A few people raised their glasses at once, Sarah first, then Beth. Others followed slower, like they were still deciding how to treat her now that she was important.
It didn't take long for the hurt to show.
Mary was still staring, her perfect dinner now completely ruined by truth. All this time, she said quietly, we were worried you were barely managing. We thought you were in some tiny apartment, doing some small job.
Anna kept her tone gentle. I was in an apartment. I was working.
It just wasn't small.
But why hide it?
David asked, frowning. Family should know.
Anna met his eyes. Family should listen, she said.
Every time I tried to tell you about tech, about startups, you called it unserious. You told me I was wasting my education. So I stopped talking.
John finally spoke, cheeks pink.
I was in San Francisco 2 years ago.
We had lunch.
You didn't say anything. You spent the whole lunch telling me about your promotion, Anna said, not accusing, just remembering. By the time you asked about me, the waiter brought the check. John opened his mouth, then closed it.
He knew it was true.
The table was strange now, some people excited, some embarrassed, some calculating. Cousin Beth whispered to her husband, She's richer than all of us. Aunt Mark, who had once told Anna, not everyone is meant to be special, was now smiling like she'd always believed in her.
It was funny and sad at the same time. Sarah tried to save the mood.
For what it's worth, she said brightly, working at your company has been the best job I've had.
Everyone is obsessed with the mission. Hospitals love Metalink.
You changed how we do patient data.
That softened Anna. Thank you, she said.
That matters to me more than the number.
David frowned.
The number matters, he said automatically. 340 million is not a hobby.
No, Anna agreed. But I didn't build it to impress anyone.
I built it because the problem needed solving. Mary shook her head slowly, still confused. You dropped out, she murmured, almost to herself. And still, dropping out didn't mean I dropped my brain, Anna said. It just meant I chose a different road.
Lily smiled proudly at that.
David, still processing, slipped into business tone. You said you were opening an office in Boston.
Next quarter, Anna said.
We already work with a few hospitals here. I know people on several boards, David said quickly. I can make introductions.
Anna tilted her head.
We already have contracts with most of them.
It wasn't rude, just another fact that didn't fit their old view of her.
For a moment, nobody spoke. They were all silently rewriting Anna's file in their minds, not the family failure.
Not the pity case. Not the California runaway. Founder. Boss. Millionaire. Right under their noses.
Dessert arrived, but nobody cared about dessert anymore. The glossy creme brulee sat untouched as the real meal, truth, was being served. Mary finally said, I think I owe you an apology.
That shocked even Anna. Mary never apologized.
We judged you by our rules, Mary went on, voice tight. School, degrees, titles. We didn't understand what you were doing, so we assumed it was less. It hurt, Anna said plainly. Hearing at least we have John.
Hearing people ask about me in whispers.
I stopped telling you things because every time I did, I left feeling smaller.
John looked guilty now. I never wanted you to feel smaller, he said. He sighed.
I didn't know you were doing all this. That's the problem, Anna said softly. You all loved the version of me you made up. The struggling little sister who might come back home someday. You didn't love the real one who left and built something.
The room was very quiet after that.
Then Sarah, bless her again, laughed a tiny laugh. Well, she said, on the bright side, I'm marrying into the coolest family story I've ever heard.
That broke the tension just enough. A few people chuckled.
Even David's mouth twitched.
Anna relaxed a fraction.
The reveal hadn't been on her terms, but maybe it was the right time anyway. The made-up story about her had finally died at that table. Now they would all have to deal with the real one. After dinner, people began moving to the living room for coffee, but John touched Anna's arm.
Can we talk? He asked quietly.
He led her into their father's study, the dark wood room that always smelled like books and power.
He shut the door. For a second, he just looked at her. Why didn't you tell me? He blurted. 2 years ago.
I was right there. Anna folded her arms. Would it have mattered?
Yes, he said. I would have been proud. Proud the way everyone was when I got a B, she asked softly. He winced.
She went on. John, you were always the winner.
I was always the warning.
I needed to build something that wasn't compared to you.
He ran a hand through his hair. I didn't know you felt like that.
That's kind of the point, Anna said. Nobody asked. He was quiet, then said, for what it's worth.
I am proud. Like, actually proud. Not the fake kind. She smiled a little.
That means more than you think.
The door opened and David walked in, already in business mode. There you are, he said.
Anna, your Boston expansion, this is a perfect chance to connect you with hospital leadership. I can set up dinners. Anna tried not to sigh. Dad, we already have meetings in place. We've been planning this for months.
He looked thrown. Oh, well.
Personal introductions can still help. They would have helped 5 years ago, she said quietly.
That landed. He shifted.
You had no track record then. So I only deserve support after I've proved I don't need it, she asked. Before he could answer, Mary appeared at the door, her hostess' smile gone. I think I need to speak with my daughter, she said. Father and son left. Mary stayed. She looked tired. Why didn't you tell us, Anna? She asked. All these years, we thought you were struggling. Because every time I tried to tell you who I was, you tried to make me someone else, Anna said. It's hard to share with people who aren't listening. Mary sat down, shoulders softening. We wanted the best for you. You wanted what you thought was best, Anna corrected gently.
Harvard. law, medicine, safe paths.
But I'm not you, Mom. Mary stared at her hands. We were embarrassed sometimes, she admitted, the words coming hard. People would ask, "How's your daughter?" and we didn't know what to say. You could have said, "She's brave," Anna said. Or, "She's building something." Or just, "We trust her." Mary looked up, eyes shiny. "We should have trusted you." "Yeah," Anna said softly. "You should have." There was a knock and Aunt Lily poked her head in. "Everyone's leaving. You two done being dramatic?" Anna laughed. Mary actually smiled. Lily said, "Good. Because your daughter is the most interesting person in this house and I'm not letting Boston pretend they always knew." Mary reached for Anna's hand. "Can we start again?" she asked. "Not pretend the past didn't happen. Just do better." Anna squeezed back. "We can try. But it'll take time." "Then we'll take time," Mary said. The next morning, Anna met Lily for breakfast downtown. "You shook the whole hill last night," Lily said, stirring her coffee. "Your Aunt Vivian called me at 7 a.m. to say she always knew." Anna snorted. "Of course she did." Then she met Sarah for coffee near the hospital. Away from the greenhouse, Sarah was even easier to like, smart, curious, excited about fixing real problems. "I had no idea I was talking about your product in front of you," Sarah said, embarrassed. "That was wild." "Honestly, I'm glad it came from you," Anna said. "If I'd said it, they would have thought I was bragging." Sarah grinned. "Well, now I get to say I work for my future sister-in-law. And I get to say my future sister-in-law actually understands our software," Anna said. Later that day, at lunch in her parents' club, Neutral Ground, David finally said the word she never expected. "We owe you an apology." Mary nodded. "We measured you by the wrong ruler." Anna listened, arms relaxed. "Thank you," she said. "But I need you to understand something. My value is not because the company worked. If it had failed, I still deserved respect." Mary nodded slowly. "That," she said, "is the hardest part. But I hear you." When Anna flew back to San Francisco, the city felt different, not because it had changed, but because she had. The two versions of her life were no longer fighting. She told her team a week later, "I'll be more public from now on." She started speaking at events, putting her full name on talks, not just AG. 3 months later she went back to Boston to open the new office. This time her parents came, sat in the front row, and clapped like everyone else. John and Sarah were there too. Sarah waved like family. After the event, David said, "Honestly this time, you're a natural leader." Mary asked, "So what's next for you, not just the company?" And Anna, who had once left Boston with 2 suitcases and a heart full of hurt, said, "Balance. I built something big. Now I want to build something soft too. Family, friendships, a life." That night, back in her apartment overlooking the bay, she thought about hospital systems that couldn't talk to each other until she built a bridge. Families were like that too, stuck in old formats. Someone had to build the bridge. She smiled, picked up her phone, and replied to a text from her mother asking when she'd visit again. Success, she realized, wasn't just the $340 million, or the patents, or the offices. It was walking back into the room where they once called her a failure, and standing there as herself.